there, my name is Dr. Marissa May. In this video, we're going to be looking and talking all about y equals mx plus b. Now, if that's not a formula that you're familiar with, you definitely want to add it to your notes because it is huge in any algebra class. You can see here that I have color-coded the M because the M stands for slope. I've also color-coded the B because it stands for the y-intercept. So you may be asking, well, what about the y and the x? Well, I'm going to show you how we use those. Let's take a look. All right, so I want to begin with a common problem that we see where we need to use this y equals mx plus b formula. So the problem says to write the equation of a line that has a slope of -1 but passes through the point 8, 5. So I want your eye to immediately go to that slope of -1. And remember, slope is represented by the letter m. So we know that m is going to be -1. And then we know that it passes through the point 8, 5. Now, that's not b. So let's not get ahead of ourselves there. So that tells me that x is 8 and y is 5. You'll remember from your algebra studies that the x comes first and then the y. So if I take my equation y equals mx plus b, I'll make the first substitution in place of my m. So that gives me y equals -1x plus b. Okay, now let's make the substitutions for x and y. So in place of the y, I'm going to put the 5. In place of the x, I'm going to put the 8. And now I get to solve for b. So let's take a look what that looks like. -1 times 8, -8. So 5 equals -8 plus b. Let's get b by itself. We'll do the opposite of -8, which is to add +8. And you see that b is 13. Okay, I'm not quite finished yet. I've got to put all these pieces and parts to get my final answer. So I want you to come right back to this equation right here. Y equals -1x plus b. And friends, now we know b. So we're going to put the value of 13 in place of b. Now, that may look a little odd by having that -1 in front. So if you want to write that as -x plus 13, that would be great. Now remember, we are giving an equation as our answer here. And this is it. Y equals -x plus 13. All right, let's do one more example here. All right, another very common problem that we see when writing the equations of lines is that we might be given, instead of a slope and a point like we were in the last one, we're given 2 points. Our 2 points here are 4, -3 and 3, -6. Now, and remember, in our y equals mx plus b, we need to know the slope. So we have to go to our slope formula in order to find the slope first. So that's our first step here, is to find the slope. So let's review that slope formula, right? It says y2, which means the second y, minus y1, that's the first y, divided by the second x, minus the first x. And we get these from the points. So let's take a look. The second y would be the -6 here. The first y would be the -3. Notice I did minus negative. Then on the bottom, the second x, that's our 3, minus our first x, which is our 4. Now, I want you to do the subtraction on the top. If you need to use the Desmos graphing calculator, I'm linking it below for you. But I'm going to change that subtraction to an addition and change the sign of the next number. So on top, I have -6 plus 3, which is -3. And then on the bottom, I'll do the same. Change that minus to a plus and change the sign of the next number. So 3 plus -4 is -1. Now, friends, -3 divided by -1 is 3, and this is our m. Okay? Now, that's just step 1. So now we need to go to step 2, which is exactly what we did in our last example. So we're going to take our y equals mx plus b. We're going to make our substitution for m. Remember, we found it to be 3. So I'm going to replace the m with a 3. Now here's the fun part. You get to choose which x and y you want to use in this problem, in this part of the problem. I think I'm probably going to go with the 4, -3. Okay, so I'm going to use 4, -3 as my x and y. So let's put in place of y the -3. In place of the x, we'll put 4. And don't forget, we don't know b yet, so we're going to figure that out. So 3 plus 4 is 12. And then I need to solve for b. So I'm going to do the opposite of adding 12, which is to subtract 12 from both sides. And it looks like we've got -15 equals b. That's not our final answer. Remember, our final answer is an equation that has x and y in it. So we're going to take our equation, y equals 3x plus b, and I'm going to put the value I found for b. So remember, b was -15. And then always, I want students to remember you can rewrite that as 3x minus 15. Voila. There we found the equation. Remember, we had to find the slope first, and then we could use our y equals mx plus b. Don't forget, the answers you're getting here, they're equations. So you want to have y and x in your final answer. All right, I hope this helped you with your y equals mx plus b. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment a star emoji there in the comments. All right, everyone, have a great day. Bye-bye.